Tonight, the Lord Mayor dramatically quits a key Olympic body. Where does that leave plans for the rebuilding of the Gabba? Buried alive on Bribie Island, a rescuer shares exclusive details of the desperate effort to dig him out. A man suspected of stealing a high-end sports car comes to a soggy end after diving into the Logan River. Federal police warn extremists are trying to reach kids through popular games. What parents need to know. Australia's richest woman buys one of the country's clothing icons.
The queens of the jungle, they reclaim their throne.
And the pride of Brisbane, the Lions maul the Kangaroos to claim a second AFLW premiership.
Live from Brisbane, 7 News with Katrina Blowers.
Good evening. An Olympic-sized rift is appearing in the Games planning body, with the Brisbane's Lord Mayor sensationally quitting the group, describing it as a dysfunctional farce. The Sports Minister has called the Lord Mayor's decision bewildering.
The Games are years away, but there's accusations political games are already being played.
The state government's game playing is jeopardising the Games.
Brisbane Lord Mayor Adrian Schwinner has resigned from the Intergovernmental Leadership Group, set up instead of an independent body to oversee Games infrastructure.
It's clear that we weren't at the decision-making table because the decisions were being made in secret behind closed doors. Only an independent authority can get these things back on track.
Also withdrawing his support for the $2.7 billion Gabba redevelopment. The final straw, the government's blindsiding demand council plus AFL and cricket must help pay for a new $137 million stadium at the RNA to be used during the rebuild. A shift from the Lord Mayor's understanding the cash was included in the Gabba's initial budget.
There is no requirement for the state to deal with displacement.
Schwinner's withdrawal surprising the Assistant Olympics Minister.
It's a bit bewildering. But I'm starting to expect backflips from the Lord Mayor. It makes it more difficult because the city should have a role.
The LNP Mayor shooting down suggestions he himself is playing politics.
I put political differences aside from day one. And that's one of the reasons we got the Olympics.
The Lord Mayor hasn't completely walked away from the decision-making table. He's still part of the Games organising committee.
I welcome people to attend meetings, not to turn their back on meetings.
It's clear the politicians can't be trusted to make these decisions.
With many more to make. Sally Geit, 7 News.
A 25-year-old man continues to cling to life after he was buried alive on Bribie Island yesterday. Police say it appears to have been a horrible accident.
Tonight, 25-year-old Josh Taylor, with family by his side, is fighting for life in intensive care. After yesterday, it was all hands on deck to help him after he fell into a deep sand hole that collapsed in on him.
We just started digging.
Nathan was just about to leave the beach when he rallied the troops.
I ran down to the car and I said, bro, you're going to have to get out of this car. You're going to have to get up and help dig. Like, we got to get this fella out. They had dug the hole to cook a pig in.
Before the 25-year-old somehow fell in backwards and head first.
He stood up off the chair. The sand had given away a little bit underneath him, and then, he'd stumbled back. He'd put his arms out to obviously break the fall. He's continued going down and knocked sand as he's put his arms out.
But digging their mate out was just making things worse.
He was that deep in the hole that you could not see his feet unless you were standing over top of the hole.
So they got some rope and tied it around his feet.
There was like 15 fully grown men on the end of this rope and he still would not budge.
An off-duty paramedic arrived. He knew what needed to be done.
That's when the paramedic's like, pull him this way, he's going to come. And then the suction gave way and he popped out.
But there was no pulse. They took turns giving CPR.
Everyone was pitching in.
And then finally, with raw emotion, a sign of life.
It's giving me goosebumps.
Police say their investigations are ongoing, but 7 News understands that charges in this case are unlikely. The early indications are that this was simply a terrible accident.
I'm praying that he pulls through this.
And prayers shared by many. And tonight, the immediate family of 25-year-old Josh Taylor are by his side. We're told that he remains in a critical but stable condition, and the family have asked for everyone tonight to have Josh in their thoughts.
Yes, let's hope so. Steve Hart there at Wollongabba. A business owner has recalled how he was dragged along the road while trying to stop robbers taking his Maserati. The alleged car thieves have been arrested, one caught after diving into the shark-infested Logan River.
For an alleged car thief, this was far from the comfort of a Maserati. His hands cuffed, his legs muddy, his body wet and cold after trying to give police the slip by taking a dip in the Logan River. He was on the run after allegedly stealing the silver saloon similar to this from business owner Shang Ye.
He reversed, so I would fall down and dragged.
He suffered scrapes and bruises, but when the adrenaline faded, the anxiety set in.
I thought, oh, maybe they coming back to my home, to my house, or they're gonna kill us or something.
Officers spotted the stolen car driving dangerously yesterday evening. Polair tracked it to Logan Home, where its tyres were spiked. The car continued on for more than 15 minutes as police gave chase.
Some reports were saying that there might have been rims and sparks and stuff like that, but all I heard was, flat tyres.
Then more commotion as the suspect headed for the river. The Logan River is a well-known home of bull sharks. The suspect spent close to half an hour in these waters before he was brought back to shore and placed under arrest. Perhaps lucky, hypothermia was the only thing he was treated for. An 18-year-old woman was also nabbed nearby. Both will face court tomorrow. Garth Burley, 7 News.
The Labor Party has launched its campaign challenging Adrian Schrinner for the top job at the next council election. Lord Mayoral candidate Tracy Price is promising a greener future.
Labor has a plan for a climate resilient city. We want to see more suburban drainage, we want to see a reduction in waste, and we want to see protection of more of our bushland.
Voters head to the polls next March. The prospect of another ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is looking far less likely after both sides exchanged rocket and artillery fire. Israel has pounded southern Gaza, the same region they told Palestinians in the north to evacuate to.
With a battle plan and boots on the ground in Gaza, Israeli forces march into the next phase of this war, a fragile 7-day ceasefire over. Israel says it's focused its strikes on terror targets in southern Gaza. The Hamas-run health ministry claims more than 200 Palestinians have been killed since the truce broke down. Saturday in Khan Yunis was a familiar sight. Ambulances ferry the wounded to Gaza's Nasser hospital.
We're still humans here in Gaza, we're not numbers here. So the world, they should wake up this time.
The US and UN are calling on both sides to negotiate another ceasefire.
As Israel pursues its military objectives in Gaza, we believe Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians.
But truce talks reached a dead end in Doha today, Israel's Prime Minister summoning his Mossad negotiators back home.
And I would remind you all that it is Hamas that has said that they would commit the October 7th massacre again and again and again. Their words, not mine.
Hamas may be losing numbers in the war, but they're recruiting from nearby Yemen. Houthi fighters marching through the city tonight, the same group that hijacked a commercial ship in the Red Sea, armed with rifles, ready for battle in Gaza.
We will support you, our Palestinian brothers. We will not abandon you. We will fight alongside you with our sons, ourselves, and generations to come.
There's little uniting these parties right now, but for civilians, their grief is universal. In London, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
And Spotlight will have exclusive vision tonight of the Hamas kidnappings on October the 7th and an interview with the mother of one of the hostages.
He is telling us that he loves us, and if you will not survive this, I love you.
Spotlight airs straight after the news at 7 o'clock. A stabbing attack in the heart of Paris has left one person dead and 2 others injured. They were attacked at random by a man wielding an axe and a knife. The French Interior Minister says the man began lashing out at tourists and shouting Allah Akbar not far from the Eiffel Tower. He was tasered and is now in police custody. It's understood he'd served time in prison for planning a similar attack and suffers from psychiatric disorders. A tsunami alert has now been lifted after a powerful earthquake struck the Philippines. The magnitude 7.6 quake hit the southern island of Mindanao before two powerful aftershocks rattled the region. Coastal residents were urged to flee to higher ground. That warning was later dropped though, so those small tsunami waves were reported off Japan. There were frantic scenes when the tremors hit, but no serious damage or injuries have been reported. The final parliamentary sitting week of the year is set to be a fiery affair as debate resumes over the High Court's release of 145 immigration detainees. The government is threatening to keep politicians in Canberra until laws are passed, allowing the most dangerous to be put back behind bars.
The race to Christmas is on, and everyone's keen to get to the finish line.
Always looking forward to the Christmas break.
But instead of winding down, pressure is piling up on the government, promising no one's going home until new preventative detention laws are in place.
What we want to make sure is that the worst of these people who've been released into the community are detained.
The laws will give courts power to throw those offenders considered the greatest risk back behind bars.
We want to work with the government to make sure that we can get as many as we can back in detention.
Modelled on high-risk terror legislation, which has only kept a handful of offenders locked up, it's likely very few of the 145 will be captured under the new regime.
This is knee-jerk hysteria policy making. The chief whipper-upper of all is Peter Dutton.
The opposition leader still fuming, labelled a pedophile protector after refusing to support Labor's push to ban those detainees convicted of child sex offences from approaching schools, arguing it didn't go far enough.
The most abhorrent slurs.
Politics is a rough and tumble game and people have got to be accountable for how they vote.
The government's also bracing for a fight at National Cabinet on Wednesday, with the states refusing to agree to reforms to ease pressure on the National Disability Insurance Scheme until their temporary GST top-up payments are made permanent. But Labor is likely to catch a break on the cost of living crisis. With inflation falling faster than expected in October, most economists predict the Reserve Bank will leave rates on hold when it meets on Tuesday. An early Christmas present for a government desperate for some festive cheer. Rob Scott, 7 News.
Coles and Woolworths will be grilled about how much they charge for food and household staples by a new Greens-led Senate inquiry. It will interrogate heads of the major supermarkets over possible price gouging during the cost of living crisis.
Give them the opportunity, if they can, to explain why it is they're raking in massive profits while millions of Australians are struggling to make ends meet.
The Senate probe will be established this month. Another Aussie mining magnate has bought another Aussie icon. Gina Reinhardt has purchased Dryzabone, the maker of the famous oilskin jackets, keeping it in Australian hands.
When it comes to Australian brands, it doesn't get bigger than this. Dryzabone has been a staple in our wardrobes for 125 years. Best known for its oilskin jackets, Prime Ministers have donned the famous coats for decades, featuring in films and some of our proudest moments.
You know that magnificent film Man from Snowy River? There was Dryzabone. And of course the magnificent time for the opening of the Sydney Olympics. There was Dryzabone.
The iconic brand now has a new owner, WA billionaire mining magnate Gina Reinhardt, ensuring it stays in Australian hands.
We want to keep and preserve its magnificent past, but we also want to rejuvenate it. We want to grow it. We'd love to see this iconic brand overseas as well.
There are big plans, but the most important, maintaining its pioneering legacy.
You'll see Dryzabone bigger, stronger, more accessible to more Australians, and potentially export it overseas where we can tell the Australian story, the Australian spirit and the heritage and the history.
Gina Reinhardt's Hancock Prospecting recently bought the much-loved Bunbury Farmers Market, keeping iconic Australian brands where they belong. Rachel Tassica, 7 News.
The Brisbane Lions have beaten North Melbourne in an epic final quarter comeback to claim their second AFLW premiership. They've played 5 of a possible 7 grand finals, inspiring a new generation.
3 times the bridesmaids.
The Queens of the Jungle.
But today was the Lions' time to bask in the sun. Brisbane more than doubling North Melbourne's score in the last quarter.
That was unreal, wasn't it? That fight back from the girls in that last quarter. Unbelievable feeling.
Nearly 13,000 people in the sold-out crowd in Melbourne, the Lions securing their second premiership as the 2021 silverware sat on display from the Southbank Live site.
Go Lions!
Inspiring a new generation.
I play for Yeronga Devils AFL club. I play for Sherwood.
It's so good that they've got role models to look up to.
It's nice to know that we're here again for the 5th time.
Out of the heat, there was a buzz of nerves.
I used to manage quite a few of them and lead AFL, and it's great to see the growth in women's sports.
We think the referee's against us, but, you know.
Bit of nerves, but I'm confident.
Australian pop star G-Flip providing the on-ground entertainment, joined on stage by 2 AFLW stars in a surprise support act. Today's grand final marking the end of an era as AFLW boss Nicole Livingstone steps down.
Basically 28 matches to now be playing our 99th match, which is a grand final that's sold out, is pretty exciting.
We were up against it all season, but the Lions, the mighty Lions, the girls got it done. Woo!
Now for a night of celebration. Jacqueline Robson, 7 News.
And after what has been a hot and sweaty day, let's check the weather now. Laura, how is it at Southbank?
Well, there's actually a decent breeze blowing here, Katrina, so it's quite pleasant at the moment, but then anything was going to be better than what we experienced earlier today. That heat is due to a hot air mass sitting over the state combining with westerly winds, and it means that Brisbane was the equal hottest place in the southeast today when it got to just under 35 degrees. Ipswich reached 34 degrees late this afternoon, and the Gold Coast was one of the few places which didn't even get to 30 degrees. We're in for another warm night tonight. I'll have the weather forecast for you a little later.
Thanks, Laura. Dangerous messages from extremist groups lurking in a video game popular with kids. The warning from federal police. Only in Australia, a croc faces off against a shiver of sharks. Hundreds of volunteers descend on the Gold Coast for an ocean clean-up. And the new tourist attraction featuring the world's favourite blue heeler.
Why the world is coming to Australia. The magnet for migrants. 9,000 every week, week after week, moving here. Almost 500,000 a year.
I really love here.
Where they're coming from and where they're settling across Queensland.
More than 12 years waiting.
7 News, Monday.
Bye, Mum. Good luck.
I've been preparing for this my whole life.
I feel like this is all happening now for a good reason.
I've got to do this.
Well, here goes.
A moment of love, a dream, a love, a moment of love, a dream, a love.
You've got this.
Won't stop till surrender.
Good luck.
There are singers, then there are idols.
We have found our Australian idol.
The kilometres you travel in a Skoda don't just measure distance. They measure life. Make every kilometre count. Skoda.
In order for people to try your food, they have to know about it. Without TikTok, it definitely wouldn't have the exposure that it has today. We have customers that come in from the other side of the world. At the rate that I grew, you know, as a person, as a creator, as a business owner, without TikTok, it would have been impossible.
Make Christmas super with the latest Super Cheap Auto catalogue. Get this Armour All detailing kit $24.99 and purchase a pair of these recovery tracks and receive a bonus mounting pin set. Make it super. Super Cheap Auto.
Need to move fast?
We must find Gary.
Do it with Vodafone's best ever network.
Gary.
I'm worried that he might be lost forever.
Now with triple the 5G coverage, giving you a faster and more reliable experience than ever before. You'll love our network or get your money back. Make your move to Vodafone.
It was a tragedy. With knockoff batteries, Little Miss Cupcake never stood a chance. Until Energizer Ultimate Lithium. The world's longest lasting AA battery. Case closed.
So many hits are exclusive to 7plus. Stream big.
Welcome back. We have some incredible video tonight of what is maybe the most Australian battle you've ever seen. Fishing near Wessel Island in the Northern Territory, Jassy Liga captured the moment a croc was swarmed by a shiver of sharks.
Please, don't eat the rope.
One shark even tried to bite the helpless crocodile. Extremists are recruiting children as young as 12 on popular chat forums and online games. The Federal Police have launched a crackdown with an increasing number of children being investigated for radicalised ideologies.
With an estimated 65 million daily users, children are hooked on global phenomenon Roblox, but there's a hidden danger lurking online.
The biggest risk to a child's personal safety is not out on the street. It's what's going to come into your house through technology.
The gaming platform allows users to create their own universe and program games for others to play. Now the AFP is warning it's being hijacked by extremists, targeting and recruiting children as young as 12.
We know there's a number of gaming platforms and Roblox is just one example. As the world changes around us, there are different ways that people can be radicalised.
Officers have uncovered multiple scenarios playing out in the virtual world, including Nazi concentration camp scenes, Chinese communist camps, Islamic State-style conflict zones and propaganda. Players are also hosting virtual pro-Palestine and pro-Israel gatherings, attacking others with opposing views. Parents are being warned to be extra vigilant and supervise their children online over the festive season, with many likely to receive new games or technology-based presents. Warning signs include children distancing themselves from friends and family, using hateful or emotionally charged language, and fixating on conspiracy theories.
The internet is not a child's playground, even if a game is pitched to children.
Roblox was contacted for comment. Rochelle Brown, 7 News.
Volunteers on the Gold Coast have sacrificed their Sunday for a good cause, clearing rubbish above and below the Broadwater. Divers searched for discarded fishing lines and lures at the SeaWorld Foundation's annual ocean clean-up.
To get out here and clean up is our way to try and minimise those impacts on our wildlife.
Organisers hope to have cleared more than 400 kilograms of rubbish from the area. Uncovering new uses for a common medicine just ahead. Could this diabetes drug help people with dementia? Also calls for more mental health support for our police officers. A grand finale for one of the world's greatest rock bands. And Christmas cruises in early on the Gold Coast.
Surfers Paradise is 90 years young. So what's next for the glitter strip? Flashback 7 News, coming up soon.
The resources industry is Queensland's nest egg, contributing billions to roads, police, hospitals and schools. But for short-term gain, the government introduced the world's highest coal royalty tax, putting Queensland's nest egg under pressure. Already billions of dollars in mining investment has been cancelled or frozen. The government must reconsider and work with the industry to protect our state's nest egg. Hurt Queensland resources and you hurt Queensland's future. Keep Queensland competitive.
Authorised by Ian McFarlane, Queensland Resources Council Limited, Brisbane.
Unlike the 97 model, the all-new Honda CR-V does not come with a picnic table.
People still picnic.
But it does come with heaps of space and available in hybrid. The all-new Honda CR-V.
You were in Frozone!
Yeah, it was an error. We're not in sync. We've gone from boys to men, and now there's only one direction for us to go. The back streets.
Trolls band together. If you have a sore back, you've probably thought about your mattress. But what about your bed base?
Bed bases commonly sag, even in amazing-looking beds. That's why we created the Sleeping Duck Indestructible Bed with 50 kilos of structural steel.
And yes, we're on. The tent is in play. We know where it'll go. Throw is good, and that is a tent.
Being an outdoor legend feels pretty good. That BCFing feeling is BCFing fun. Hey!
So glad I say brew. Best slice this afternoon.
Aldi's wood-smoked half-leg Aussie ham is just $7.99 per kilo. Go big on the little things with Aldi. Good, different.
Oh, wow! Which one of you got me this? Ooh, Merry Chrissy. Chrissy.
Find a little something for everyone.
That's the Chrissy spirit.
Andy, can't stop, Ashwin. Loan application time.
Applying for a loan isn't as hard as you think. With an easy online application, ANZ GoBiz is the loan without the groan. Search ANZ GoBiz.
Please find Gary. When you need to move fast,
We must find Gary.
do it with Vodafone's best ever network.
Gary.
Gary? I'm worried that he might be lost forever.
Now with triple the 5G coverage, giving you a faster and more reliable experience than ever before. You'll love our network or get your money back. Make your move to Vodafone.
Researchers are looking at whether a common diabetes drug may have a dual use. There are promising signs metformin could slow down the ageing of the brain and help prevent dementia.
Here's a drug you're going to want to remember.
Anti-cancer, it was anti-heart attack, and there was some actually interesting data to suggest it was anti-ageing.
The cruel irony, metformin has been under our noses for centuries. The compound comes from the French lilac.
As a gardener, I'm thrilled that a medicinal plant could actually have so many benefits for human health.
It was used in medieval times to treat disease, including the plague. For the last quarter of a century, it's been the 7th most prescribed diabetes drug. Now the Garvan Institute's Professor Katrina Samaras has found new, potentially life-changing lilac buds for dementia patients.
It allows us to maintain brain mass. It helps remove a protein called amyloid, causes all the damage in Alzheimer's dementia. The way one neuron connects to the other works very effectively.
There's a global effort to get metformin on the market for dementia as soon as possible. Professor Samaras is closest to the finish line.
It's staggering, and I'm very excited about this study.
The drug was used in a recent Sydney memory and ageing study which observed more than 1,000 new cases of dementia and recorded an 80% drop in the disease. And there's more.
Metformin is very safe and very cheap.
The Garvan Institute needs another 100 volunteers to finish its phase 3 trial and get the drug TGA approved for potentially unforgettable results. Tom Saker, 7 News.
There's a new push for Queensland police officers to receive increased mental health support. There are fears many are suffering extreme levels of stress and anxiety costing lives, and a warning that some viewers might find themes in this story confronting.
Senior Constable Kim Slade, a proud police officer, a mother, a friend.
She had a really good moral compass.
In July, Kim took her own life inside Logan Home Police Station. She was 48. The day she died was her daughter's 29th birthday.
She wouldn't have planned that. It's not in her nature.
Her best friend Sharon Easdale says Kim was struggling at work.
She was told that she was useless and worthless.
Former officers say there's a lack of support within the service.
One of the biggest triggers, I think, is the institutional stress.
Sean O'Gorman, who quit QPS in 2002, says he did so because he felt suicidal.
I got to the point where I realised I was being badly impacted.
In the past 10 years, 18 Queensland police officers have died by suicide. Half of those were still serving at the time, with some occurring on the job.
Whilst our suicide rate is lower than most people would think, our suicidal ideation is significantly higher.
He admits there's still a stigma associated with mental health.
Seeking assistance openly is still taboo for them.
Now there's a push to make it mandatory for officers to see a psychologist at least once a year.
It's not a high priority for policing, it's not a high priority for government.
Commissioner Katrina says it's one of many options being considered.
I will support anything that has good evidence that will improve mental health for our people. Definitely I will look into it.
We can always do more.
Kim Slade's loved ones agree.
I think they can do a lot better.
Fighting for change. Samantha Heathwood, 7 News.
And if you or someone you know needs to talk, Lifeline is there 24/7. Their number is 13 11 14. One of rock's most influential bands have played their last concert. Kiss took the stage in New York for what they declared was their last show, but they have said that before.
It was a long, loud Kiss goodnight. The rock gods, famous for their makeup and on-stage antics, went out on a high note. The final show of their aptly named End of the Road World Tour. In the 50 years since Kiss was formed, they've sold more than 75 million records worldwide. They are so highly regarded in their hometown, New York, even the Empire State Building was lit up in their honour. Kiss rocked this year's AFL Grand Final, delighting long-time fans and inspiring a new generation of mini musicians. They have retired before, and some critics believe there may still be another comeback.
I would not be shocked, and I think there's reason for some healthy skepticism that they might come back in 3, 4, 5 years if their health and everything holds up.
Paul Stanley and co-frontman Gene Simmons have their own bands and have pledged to continue performing, but the original members are now in their 70s, and although they may want to rock and roll all night, it seems even these rock legends have called an end to the party. In the United States, Smiley Hogan, 7 News.
Christmas has come early on the Gold Coast with more than 200 Santas swapping their sleighs for jet skis on the Broadwater. Decking the hulls, the convoy left from Bigara Waters Beach this morning and cruised past the Sundale Bridge. The riders, dressed as the man in red, raised around $5,000 to buy Christmas presents for kids in foster care. Training in extreme conditions. After the break, we meet the mum on a mission to go for a gruelling world record. The hunt for 2 thieves after a spate of bizarre fishing rod thefts. And what a whirlwind! Strong winds tear through a Logan home. See the full video.
Everything about this episode is record-breaking.
11's the most we've ever lost on a first question. Did you get this one right away?
Yeah.
Don't rub it in their faces, I'll do it for you.
100 everyday Aussies playing for the biggest prize possible.
$100,000!
Do they have the smarts to win the lot?
One question away from $100,000.
Can we just split it?
The 1% Club, Monday on 7 and 7+.
$2.50.
Here's $3. Actually, can you invest the change into the share market for me?
Your local corner store isn't going to round up and invest your spare change into the share market, but the Raise app does. Download the app today.
We're all about real value at Aussie Broadband. This Black Friday, switch to Aussie Broadband and save up to $240 over 12 months on selected high-speed NBN plans. Offer ends December 10. That's the actual Aussie way.
Create a summer breeze with Australia's biggest fan sale at Beacon. Choose from Australia's biggest range of fans and get 30% off your second. Buy 2, get your second 30% off, only at Beacon.
Hey Greg. Sorry, I've been flat out all morning.
Get 2 designer pairs, no gap, with selected health funds. Should have gone to Specsavers.
Light-powered attraction that protects your home from flying insects.
Insecticide-free pest protection. Raid. Everyone deserves protection. SC Johnson.
This Christmas, Coles is going to great lengths to ensure there's a dessert for every taste and occasion. Like Coles Fruit Mince Pies 6-pack, a delicious easy win for last-minute guests, just $3.50. Or create the perfect pav with the award-winning Coles Pavlova, down at just $6. Plus, this mouth-watering Coles Finest luxury Madagascan vanilla meringue wreath, $15. Going to great lengths for quality, that's Coles.
J'adore.
Unlike the 97 model, the all-new Honda CR-V does not come with a picnic table.
People still picnic.
But it does come with heaps of space and available in hybrid. The all-new Honda CR-V.
A sudden burst of wind has whirled through a Logan backyard this afternoon. The homeowner caught the moment on camera. It can be seen making its way across the swimming pool before dragging an outdoor lounge into the water and sending other objects flying. An Australian ultramarathon runner is going to extreme lengths to prepare for a gruelling world record attempt this month. Donna Urquhart is training in a freezing wind tunnel to acclimatise for blizzard conditions in Antarctica.
Even winds almost 100 kilometres an hour. Temperatures -9 can't cool Donna Urquhart's red-hot determination for the world's toughest marathon. Are you having second thoughts about it now?
Never. No, I'm committed to getting this done.
This wind tunnel simulates weather this mother of one will face. Starting December 15 at Antarctica's Union Glacier Camp, she'll have a month to shatter the Antarctica running distance record of 1,200 kilometres, completing a 10-kilometre loop 6 times a day.
It's a whole new world and it's brutal.
She's trained in the high country, in forests, in a refrigerated shipping container. But this is next level extreme. This is an indication of what Donna's going through. You can virtually not hear me. The wind is just biting on my cheeks. I'm really struggling to stand.
I think she's crazy. She's an amazing athlete and I think a real inspiration to women.
Nick McCallum, 7 News.
A fortune in fishing tackle has been stolen during a dramatic ram raid. 2 hooded figures smashed their way into the Melbourne business, making off with $10,000 worth of goods. Their ute was found dumped and torched nearby. It's the second time the store has been broken into in just 4 months. She is the world's favourite blue healer, and now Bluey is set to star in her very own tourist attraction, and it is right here in Brisbane. We'll tell you when you can visit Bluey World, just ahead on 7 News. Time for sport now, though, and Ben, the grand final hoodoo is broken.
Oh yeah, Katrina, the Lions are bringing home the trophy. G'day everyone. Coming up, Dave Warner savaged by a former teammate as the Heat prepare to leave the Big Bash in their wake. And the Queens of the Jungle, the Lions, finally bring silverware to Brisbane.
Next week on Sunrise.
Oh no, lights out.
How to prepare for one of the most erratic power seasons ever. Plus, the Christmas cough outbreak, where the epidemic is set to explode in Queensland. Plus, Richard Branson live as his new adults-only cruise ship docks in Australia.
And Sherbo, it's the Sunrise 12 Days of Christmas.
Oh yeah, Santa's here with $40,000 worth of prizes to put under your Christmas tree.
Watch and win every morning on Sunrise.
Start with Sunrise.
Right now.
I didn't kill my wife! It's time to stop running!
The Fugitive, tonight 8:30 on 7 and 7+.
There is still magic wherever you are.
Cherish those golden to us this Christmas. Fragrant hazelnuts, smooth velvety chocolate. Say it with gold. Ferrero Rocher.
What better story is there than a story unique to you? It could travel back 4 generations to a fishing village in Norway, or feature grand characters like Great Aunt Jean. What a legend. Your story could explain how being good at running actually runs in the family. Or if you're lucky, you might even match with a new relative here today. Hey Layla! Give the gift of discovery with Ancestry DNA, now from just $85.
Hearing Australia's new range of devices feature auto-adjust to reduce background noise.
Mum, I'm pregnant.
So you'll never miss life's special moments. Search hearing.com.au to book your appointment today.
Hearing Australia.
It's the final days of the Drop Everything Black Friday sale at Amart. Get up to 60% off a huge range of lounges, living, dining and more. Sale ends Tuesday, so drop everything and hurry into Amart.
Oh, I always pick the dodgy trolley.
It really does have a mind of its own.
Oh, not my car.
You've got insurance, Salt.
After all, you've got a lifetime guarantee on all authorised repairs from Budget Direct.
And you've saved a pretty penny too.
Lifetime guarantee on authorised repairs.
Insurance solved with Budget Direct.
Looking to save on your household bills? Then stack your energy, internet and mobile with AGL Stack and Save to unlock amazing credits and discounts. See how much AGL Stack and Save could save you.
Shut up and take my money.
You're the one thing.
This could be love because
Aldi's serving Italian panettone and liqueur cherries in dark chocolate. Go big on the little things with Aldi. Good, different.
The federal government's same job, same pay law means farming will be less flexible and more expensive. And when it's more expensive for farmers, it's more expensive at the checkout. Let's find a better way.
Authorised by Tony Marr, National Farmers Federation, Canberra.
I'm on an epic quest to overthrow a great evil. A terrifying menace appears. Quick, friends, we must overpower it. Morning. The tower looms ahead.
I am riding an emotional roller coaster.
Could you ride more quietly?
Ooh, I'm in a field. Or a goat.
Audible. Start your free trial today.
South East Queensland's 2023 Grand Final curse has been broken. The Lions, AFLW premiers for the second time in their short history. The first team ever to overcome a 3/4 time deficit in the decider. Brisbane roped in the Roos by 17 on the back of a 4-goal final term.
Who needs the coach to relay messages when you're about to win a grand final? The Lions, queens of the jungle.
They reclaim their throne. AFLW premiers for the second time.
Given the cold shoulder pre-season and written off after seeing key players poached, this team's built on resilience.
And with this group and this club, it's just so special, and I don't think it's properly synced in.
Down by 7 points at the last change, up stood Dakota Davidson.
She's taken a grab.
Dax's 2 game-changing majors on one knee too.
I did everything I could to make it to this day, and God, I'm so glad I did, because this is unreal.
4 goals in the last term for Brisbane and 1 for the best on-ground skipper.
Conan! You barbarian!
But this premiership came from relentless Lions pressure. 110 match tackles, 18 for Courtney Hodder, and a memorable one from Soph Conway.
Oh, as King gets crunched in a tackle from Conway.
Ellie Hampson with 2 goals saved her best game for the most important. Orla O'Dwyer never has a bad game.
All the runaway left. And slots it through.
The trip south worthwhile for Chris Fagan. Bearing the demons of last season, the Lions women doing what the men just couldn't do this season.
For the life of me, envisage us, rattling on 4 goals in the last quarter.
Ben Dobson, 7 News.
Well, the party is just getting started in Melbourne. Kate Massey's in the thick of it with one of the Lions' best.
Well, Ben, the celebrations won't be slowing down anytime soon. Here, I'm joined by Dakota Davidson, Brisbane star. You've just won a premiership. How are you feeling?
Unreal! It is an unbelievable feeling.
I mean, you were in doubt this week. Can you talk to us about, did you ever feel like you weren't going to play with your knee injury?
Oh, look, when I did it last week, there was obviously doubts, but when the scans came back clear, I tried everything in my power to get up on the big stage, and God, I'm glad I did.
Can you quickly tell us about the jerry can out there post-game?
At the start of pre-season, we went on a camp and we had to carry about 12 jerry cans full of water up a 20-kilometre trail run. So we, every time times get tough, we just think back to that start and we do the jerry can and then we put it up to, work harder, and there's always more left in the tank.
It's obviously something in that. It's worked for you. Congratulations. Enjoy tonight. Back to you in Brisbane.
Yes, look out, Melbourne. Well, David Warner's been savaged by an ex-teammate after making the cut in Australia's 14-man squad for Perth's first test against Pakistan. Mitchell Johnson believes the opener doesn't deserve a red ball farewell, exposing old wounds in the process.
He tore England apart in 2013. David Warner had a front row seat. Now Mitchell Johnson has launched off the long run against his former teammate. As we prepare for David Warner's farewell series, can somebody please tell me why? Johnson wrote in the West Australian. His past 3 years in Test cricket have been ordinary, with a batting average closer to what a tail ender would be happy with.
Ultimately, we still think he's in our best 11 players.
Warner's SCG Swan song seemingly assured in the new year. The Red Rags were a fan favourite when Steve Waugh said goodbye. What will fans bring for Warner? Bunnings would sell out of sandpaper. It's been 5 years and Warner has still never really owned the ball tampering scandal. Johnson also questioned if head selector George Bailey, another of his World Cup winning teammates, is too close to the team and giving Warner preferential treatment.
I've been sent little snippets of it. I hope he's okay.
Lance Morris returns to the squad to take on Pakistan in Perth. Andrew McCormack, 7 News.
Before Perth, Warner's Test teammates Usman Khawaja and Marnus Labuschagne headlined Big Bash's season opener Thursday at the Gabba. Stopping Glenn Maxwell's Stars in the blockbuster will go a long way to matching Brisbane's women and making another decider. The high-octane version of the game living up to its tag. Jet cars and jet skis ahead of a jet-propelled 10-match season.
We find in shorter tournaments you've got to hit the ground running. If you lose a couple of games early, it really is hard to kind of claw it back. 2 box office Gabba games, pink for the Sixers on New Year's Day, green for Glenn Maxwell's Stars Thursday. One of the best players in the world, as he's shown over probably a decade now. I'm looking forward to kind of going toe-to-toe with him, but kind of all the talent you've got over here. Leading, not chasing, the key to making back-to-back grand finals. I think we've got the squad to go one better, and the belief, I think, from last year of such a good run can really kind of put us in good stead this year. Billings admits the women's side have set the benchmark. Well bowled, she's got it! Despite last night's grand final loss in Adelaide. Got her! Chasing a meagre 126 runs, Talia McGrath turned the match in 2 balls. Got her! McGrath's on a hat-trick! But the Heat weren't ready to throw in the towel. 13 needed off the last over, 11 off the last 3. It's over the rope! What a shot! But that's where the fairy tale ended. Like the men, Brisbane 3 runs short in a decider. The Lee brother-sister act flirted with victory, but it was Chile's Joaquin Niemann holding his nerve when it counted at the Australian Open. South Africa's Ashley Buhai defended her women's title 1 shot ahead of Minjee Lee, while Niemann beat Riku Hoshino in a play-off after Scott blew his lead and Minwoo fell just short.
Minwoo started with a share of the lead. Minjee tried to mow down a 7-shot gap, but the younger Lee stalled, frustrated, and the big charge came from a Masters champion.
Track, yes.
Undercover on a back 9 start, Adam Scott's broomstick rolled in putt after putt, 8 birdies.
There's no chance. That's not low.
And a 2-shot lead by Scott's 16th hole. But he hit his drive out of bounds, had a triple bogey 7 from 14 under to 11. The game he makes look so easy had cruelled Scott once more. Chile's Joaquin Niemann leading but wayward at the last. A visit to the hospitality tent gave a view of the green. He found it from behind the trees to set the clubhouse lead at 14 under. Minjee was within one shot by the final hole, but couldn't quite catch South Africa's reigning champion. Min Woo, 2 down with 3 to play, and weaving his magic from the pine straw again.
Roars from the green, that's why!
But his chances kept slipping by. At 17, Japan's Rikuya Hoshino joined Neiman in the lead.
Chasing out. Breaking!
25-year-old Live Tour 100 millionaire has just won on the second extra hole. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
Patty, thank you. What a day. The Lions girls home about 11:30 tomorrow morning.
Excitement factor like 15 out of 10.
Through the roof.
Thanks, Ben. Bluey has conquered TV screens across the world. Now she's set to have a real world of her own. A new tourist attraction. Where else but in her hometown?
It's a theme song that's been turning heads for 5 years. Now Bluey's World is set to come to life in Queensland's capital.
This will be a custom-built 4,000 square metre immersive Bluey fan experience.
From life-size sets to a soundscape, visitors will be guided through a recreation of the famous Queenslander home and its beloved backyard.
The experience will take roughly 1 hour before it's unguided, where they spend another hour in the building.
There'll be a playground, the quintessential Poinciana, even rooms for private events. Do you think you might want to have a party at Bluey's World?
Yes.
Hamilton's North Shore Pavilion is where the Healer family will call home. It's expected to be twice the size of exhibitions held here previously, and with construction beginning soon, fans will be able to visit from August next year. Bluey's World will be a pop-up exhibit planned to go until at least Easter of 2025. It's estimated it will generate around $18 million, and if it proves popular, there's a chance it could become a permanent attraction.
Queensland has taken Bluey to the world. Now we invite the world to come and check out Bluey's hometown.
As for whether Bluey and her sister Bingo are excited, that's a big yes. Samantha Cheney, 7 News.
90 years young, the Glitter Strip celebrates a milestone birthday. So what's next for Surfers Paradise? That's ahead in Flashback.
And a shower or two tomorrow and maybe even a storm as well. I'll have your weather forecast next.
Why the world is coming to Australia. The magnet for migrants. 9,000 every week, week after week, moving here. Almost 500,000 a year.
I really love here.
Where they're coming from and where they're settling across Queensland.
More than 12 years of waiting.
7 News, Monday.
The Bill Houdini, a thrifty yet shifty character. Save money and friends. Westpac Life Savings. Get bonus interest by saving just $1 extra a month. Problem solved.
Simon is here, 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 Simon.
TK Maxx. Big brands, small prices. Apps at TK Lootly.
Sport is a gift, with hundreds of member offers on now at Rebel. Like this Garmin Forerunner 955 Solar, now $599, and 20% off skates and scooters. Find the best deal with our price match guarantee. Rebel. Sport is calling.
We gotta get ready for our family migration!
Yeah! Oh, Dad, you're coming too!
No. Whoa! That did it. Here we go.
We have a number 2 situation.
Can we land?
There is no way we're landing.
Are you sure no one's watching?
Win, Mallard! Do it now, or we leave without you.
Okay.
Migration, in cinemas Boxing Day.
Steve.
That's gone.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Pandora loves Unboxed.
There's a place where Christmas is made special for locals.
You missed a bit.
Morning, Kate. Oh, you beauty. Merry Christmas, Pete.
Beautiful. Plenty for leftovers. This Christmas, you'll be looked after at your local IGA, even Rudolph.
Thank you.
Good boy. Here you go. Yeah. Merry Christmas. From our local family to yours.
Please find Gary.
When you need to move fast,
We must find Gary.
do it with Vodafone's best ever network.
Gary. Gary?
I'm worried that he might be lost forever.
Now with triple the 5G coverage, giving you a faster and more reliable experience than ever before. You'll love our network or get your money back. Make your move to Vodafone.
A drive that's on an entirely new level, so you can get more out of every moment. All hybrid Mazda CX-60. Elevate your world.
This weather report brought to you by the all-hybrid Mazda CX-60.
Surfers Paradise turned 90 years young this week and is celebrating by putting the COVID blues behind it. More than 12.5 million visitors to the coast so far this year. As Max Futcher reports, it's a long way from its humble beginnings.
Now we join the carefree, relaxing residents and other tourists here in Surfers Paradise.
Long before it was surface, it was a hamlet called Elston, only accessible by ferry. But Brisbane hotelier Jim Cavell saw potential, opening his Surfers Paradise Hotel in 1925. The community would adopt the name in December 1933. A bridge and car ownership would change things forever.
Practically non-existent a few years ago, the motel is fast becoming a popular sight on Queensland's roads.
The very first, the El Dorado in Surfers, opened in 1955. It wouldn't be alone for long. Tourists flocked, motels and hotels grew grander, better food and entertainment. Big attractions would follow. Marineland in 1966. In 1981, Grundy's was high-tech, boasting the coast's first water slide.
As you can see, what we put in 2 acres under one roof allows everyone in the family to have something to do.
As surfers' fortunes rose, so did the skyline. In 1960, the coast's first high-rise, Kinkabool, soared 10 stories, offering unparalleled views. It triggered a high-rise building boom that would totally reshape surfers.
Therein lies the development of our tourist industry, therein lies the development of our permanent population.
Surfers is nothing without its daring attitude, the famous meter maids, bikini and resort wear fashion parades by the pool, a legacy being celebrated by the Made in Surfers Paradise exhibition at Hotter.
Imagine how fun and shocking it would have been to see ladies walking down the street in bikinis and high heels. I mean, it would have been something to see.
If Surfers Paradise has one constant, it's change. The next big one is the Surfers Paradise Revitalisation Project, a reimagining of Cavell Avenue, Cavell Mall and the Esplanade. A tree-lined boulevard, garden rooms, urban headlands and beach plazas. Work is expected to begin mid-2025.
That's going to be a real game changer. We've got the Green Heart, the city Green Heart, which is, you know, half the size of New York Central Park.
With the weather for the week ahead now, here's Laura.
Hello again from South Bank. We are expecting some typical December days in coming days, so think sunny and warm, but in the city at least it shouldn't be hotter than it was today. Brisbane was actually 5 degrees above its December average. Most centres got into the low to mid-30s. Southern Queensland got a slight reprieve from exceptionally muggy conditions as that high moves east out of the bite. That's also reduced the chance of storms in the southeast, but we have seen some firing away west of Townsville and Mackay this evening. Looking ahead, heatwave conditions will continue in the north as a trough draws in hot air. There could also be some isolated falls across the north and along the coast tomorrow. Checking the capitals, both Melbourne and Adelaide will be feeling the heat on Monday, fine with a cooler top of 25 for Sydney. Quite the contrast to the far north, in for another hot day, especially inland. Townsville and Mackay could see a shower or late storm. There's a higher chance of some showers south about Rockhampton. That also comes with the possibility of a storm forming as well. Maximums in the low 30s for most parts. The chance of a shower or two in the southeast tomorrow, particularly on the Sunshine Coast. There could be a thunderstorm from late morning. Early falls should keep a lid on climbing temperatures. Logan getting to 30 degrees. Into the suburbs, partly cloudy with a medium chance of showers. 20 to 31 Ferny Grove, 21 to 30 in Manly. In the Bay tomorrow, variable winds turn southeasterly around lunchtime. No improvement overnight for surfers. Southerly swell up to a metre. Tonight in the city, it will drop to 22, but the feels-like temperature will stay much higher at 26 to 28, so keep the fan going. A shower or two for Monday, even a storm from mid-morning. Not much chance of rain after tomorrow. The rest of the week is looking clear. Staying warm in the west up to 34 Wednesday under sunny skies. Mostly sunny days ahead on the Gold Coast with light winds from Wednesday onwards onto the Sunshine Coast with a chance of wet weather stretches into Tuesday before clearing. It's looking pretty good for anyone lucky enough to be on school holidays. Katrina?
Very lucky indeed. Thank you, Laura. And that is all from us this Sunday. Thank you for your company. We will have updates throughout the evening, but for now, from all the team, have a great night.